Okay, there we are. We're live. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Yvonne Maffei here from My Halal Kitchen. Today I have a really interesting show for you. I'm here with the founder of Zeytin Oil, Ahat Caskurlu. He is very excited to be here as well. You guys know I've been living in Turkey for over a year and a half. I'm just now back in the US. And since I was there, I think those of you who follow me on Instagram and Facebook saw my complete love and passion for all of these amazing Turkish products. I think that, they are delicious and so still so natural. And olive oil is sort of that the absolute favorite of mine. And I was really blessed to try different varieties while I was there. And the way we met or connected was that on Instagram I had posted a product I found in the grocery store, a very common olive oil product, and you kind of came in and said, "Hey, wait a minute, there's you that's not really a true product," or you said to. But I would really appreciated it because I didn't really get a lot of great information about the olive oils there, and Turkey has delicious varieties of olive oil, but they're not all the same. So he's going to be here today to talk to us about quality of olive oil and the varieties and the taste. He's going to talk about pairings and things of that nature. So you guys can ask all the questions you want about olive oil, Turkish olive oil, and we have. I'll answer the questions. I can see your questions in the sidebar here. So let's get started. Ahat, thank you so much for joining. And can you tell us more about why you started your company, Zeytin Olive Oil?
Thank you so much, Yvonne. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Thank you so much for having us. I'm really happy about this because I love talking about olive oil and extra virgin olive oil, regardless where it is, how it is. Some people just have a hard time shutting me up. So
no, we want you to talk.
So how we started this was my wife and myself. We have no affiliation. Some people in Turkey are so blessed that they have generations worth of knowledge. Their great grandparents started this business in 1926, and then they had a generation after generation after another generation in this business. They had the chance to perfect the product, perfect the process. Unfortunately, on the other hand, we used to be white collar people. They're working in corporate America jobs, doing mostly like revenue management, branding type of jobs. And I used to be in the airline. I still am part time, but in the airline industry. And we took a trip to Italy. Everyone's favorites. Everybody wants to go to Italy. And you're from Italy, so
yeah, my family.
There's no hiding that.
Great olive oil.
Great olive oil. But the intention for us to visit Italy was not tasting the olive oil. We had no idea. We used to say, okay, let's start business. Let's bring some Turkish product. And I used to say, like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm in airlines. I can't start an airline. So we went to Italy, and everything definitely is fate. It happens for a reason. We were gonna go have some husband and wife time, one on one, leave the kids in Istanbul, and then just have some good time in Italy, just driving around.
Sounds like a dream trip.
Exactly. The night before, our now second son was our newborn, and he was approximately 5 months old. We just looked at each other and we said, we can't leave him behind. He's too young.
Yeah.
So we flew to Venice, and then we were traveling. We rented a car, went down to the depths of Tuscany, and we arrived in this hotel in the middle of nowhere at 9:30 p.m. And then we had to put him to sleep, so we couldn't go anywhere. Just because he was with us, we couldn't go anywhere to have dinner. We said, okay, we'll just stop by in the restaurant of the hotel. And this hotel is in the middle of nowhere, maybe 10 rooms, owned and operated by local families.
Nice.
But don't think like a big fancy Marriott or something like
that. No, they're much more family.
Exactly.
Family.
So we go to the front desk and they say, hey, our baby's sleeping. We have the baby monitor on. Everything's good. Do you guys have a restaurant? And she says, yeah, we do, of course, but I'm the only one here, so I'm going to be your chef, your busboy, your waiter, everybody. So I said, that's cool, that's fine. Give us the menu. And then she said, well, it's going to take a while. I'm not going to lie to you. So here's some olive oil. Go indulge. And as
The
soon
local bread, I imagine.
exactly, and then you go a loaf of bread. Here's our local olive oil. The groves are in the back. The owner
Oh
of this
wow.
hotel is processing this olive oil,
Hmm.
and then we tasted that, and our eyes were like, unbelievable.
Popping
How
it.
does this even taste like that? You
Yeah.
hear all these stories of people traveling to Europe. They have a once in a lifetime experience. They taste these amazing cheese, olive oil, fruits, whatever you name it.
Yes.
Then they
Yes.
come back to the US. You really struggle with finding the same quality, and you kind of hold
Yeah.
on to that experience. It's like it grows
That's
every day,
exactly how I feel coming back from Turkey.
right? Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's what happened to us. We said, wait a minute, like why can't we? Turkey is an olive oil manufacturing country. Why can't we find this exact quality? Or if even if we don't have it, I'm sure we have it, but let's go ahead and talk to the growers and the manufacturers and get it to this quality and bring it into the US market so that we can actually say proudly that this is a Turkish olive oil, family owned from a single source, really transparent. And profits, definitely it's a business, but
Yeah.
not the first thing in mind. It's quality over quantity. How can we kind of do that? And that was back in November 2018. And we started this thing full fledged by
Not too long
December.
ago.
Yeah, exactly. So we started doing this, and I still have that bottle, believe it or not. Uh,
From Italy.
I'm really an emotional guy. I took this. We got this bottle as gifts to our friends and family, and
Uh-huh.
then afterwards, I found the manufacturer of this bottle, and then reached out to that guy. He introduced us to the producer. It's a long
Oh
story.
wow.
This is the bottle that started it all for us.
Oh, I love the olive
Really
tree.
local, really local. They don't even sell it outside of the Tuscany, the Chianti region.
Oh wow. You
So
know,
we
and
keep it, and that's how we decided to get into this business. And we said, okay, we identified a couple of problems within the industry.
mhm.
First and foremost, the Turkish brands practically being invisible in the US. And
Yes,
then
that's
actually,
the problem. And that's why I was so excited to find you, or you found me, because I had been saying ever since the first moment I stepped in Turkey several years ago, coming from an Italian background and having traveled extensively in Europe and tasted lots of olive oil, just grew up with it basically. But I was so nicely surprised by the quality of, I mean, it should be, right? I mean, because it's the land of olives and olive oil,
yeah,
but it just doesn't have the clout around the world that, as it should.
yeah,
And so your product is, I mean, it's just a gem. So
thank you so much.
sorry to interrupt. I just want to say that because the quality is amazing and people should know more about it. So
Thank you. Really appreciate it. I mean, that's why we took this risk. We wanted to see how we can change this. And how sometimes the craziest of the people are the ones that are facilitating change and fostering
right.
change in the world.
Yeah,
So
sometimes you
that's
have
what
to
we're
be a
trying
little
to
bit.
do. Honestly, we're trying to be these two crazy people, husband and wife team,
That's wonderful.
who just kicked off something that should have been done maybe 50 years ago.
Hmm.
So hopefully,
Yes,
inshallah, we're in the right path. That's the goal.
inshallah.
Like
And
having the best
you're
product possible, transparent, and
and you're getting the olives from the region where I've been living, and that I even me landing there didn't realize what I was surrounded by, which was this land of olives, olive oil, the citrus, the honey.
yeah,
I mean, it is a very special part of Turkey, and they really are known for the olive oil and the honey and so on. And so, like my favorite foods, there's sunnah foods, they're healing foods. I mean, can't be more blessed than that.
yeah,
So it was just really kismet, I think, that this happened,
yeah.
especially when I was missing my huge bottle of olive oil from a neighbor over there. It's still sitting in my cabinet in my kitchen over there. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. So tell us then. From there, you started bottling, and what were people's reactions to the taste? I mean, I know that you've entered competitions and your oil has won prizes
Yeah,
recently. So
yeah, yeah.
congratulations to
Quite,
that.
quite recently too, which is really
Hmm.
good testament to something that we're trying to achieve. The thing is, Turkish brands have been winning awards
Hmm.
for I think in the past 10 years or so. We've been winning a lot of awards. There are so many companies in Turkey that are doing this really nicely,
Hmm.
really transparent, really pure and clean and fresh, and
Yes,
they have
I've seen this.
standards.
I've seen several.
Exactly, there are standards that are so high. But the issue is they're pretty much hiding behind a branding that will replicate or kind of hint that this olive oil might be Italian or Spanish
Hmm.
or not necessarily fully Turkish. So that definitely started changing in the past 5 years, where Turkish brands are now saying proudly, "I'm Turkish brand."
That's wonderful. I'm so, yeah, that needs to happen because, the quality is definitely there. But you're right. I mean, I think in terms of marketing, we always assume that the best olive oils come from Italy, Greece, Spain, and California.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I'm glad to see you're forging ahead because it's well deserved. So
Thank you. So we're spearheading that in a way
mhm.
where we proudly say Zeytin. Zeytin literally means olives in Turkish. And to
Right,
me,
right.
a branding person or a branding background, it's amazing to me that no one claimed this trademark in the US, the world's biggest, largest market,
Mhm.
consumer market. That kind of shows you what the issue is. And
Yeah.
the thing is, we touch the farmers and the producers and the locals in these communities, and there are just so many different perspectives. People have been doing this business. Sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse for the past 40 years, and they have their ways.
Right.
And we tell them, like, there are some, olive oil is no secret. There are so much mystery around olives and olive oil, but as soon as you're honest with yourself and honest with the product, it's actually, there are some fundamental things that you need to hit, and then
Mhm.
your product will be so beautiful, so tasty, so clean.
Mhm.
Some people have an understanding where they want to do things differently, so we go and try to educate them, so it's a win-win. That person gets educated, even if we don't do business with them. That person gets educated, they start doing things a little bit differently, and then now I'm in a place where I have a base of producers and growers where I can talk to really easily, and I have
Mhm.
access to where I can educate them, and in return we get much better product, not in my brand maybe, but in their own brands, in someone else's brands, but as a Turkish product. And that's what we're trying to do. This is way larger for us from the Zeytin brand. Yes, we won the silver medal in New York 3 weeks ago, and the silver medal in,
Congratulations.
thank you,
That's
2 weeks.
now. Are you working with olive farmers who've been doing this like generations? It's in their family. Is that mostly who you're working with? So
Yeah,
it's like family to family.
yeah, it's
It's a
family to
family to
family.
family business. I love
That is
that.
really important. There are some issues within the families where, as all of us, right? When you grow, you want to be a banker, a white collar worker,
Right, right,
an
right,
insurance sales rep. I don't know. You want to be a CPG person, a product manager, some fancy title with a nice suit and tie and a
right,
nice car,
right.
city living. So the problem
Considered success or
that's
progress.
the definition of modern
Yeah.
day success. It's actually not. So when I go, I work with these individuals who have stayed in that geography, and they're really striving to do something that's better than their ancestors, their father,
Mhm.
their grandpa. So
So they want to be
that's
there.
the right person. When I find
Right.
someone like that who stayed in the small town,
Mhm.
who stayed on
Right.
the farm, who took their piece of the grow, and they're like looking at me with shiny eyes and saying, "I want to do this right.
I
Tell me."
love it. Yeah.
That's
That's so important.
the kind of guy.
That's so important because if there's no love in it, there's no passion for it, then you can just be sure that energy is going to go into the
Yeah,
product.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's people who are tied to the land, especially they will do everything possible to produce the best. And aren't they the best people?
oh,
The
they are,
people who produce great food really are the best people.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
they
so
really care. They care. And it's
exactly.
that holistic environment. I think I saw one of your videos where you were talking about the bees and the bees pollinating. And I think that was such a great thing that you mentioned because that's a holistic part of this. This is nothing of this sort will run in isolation. It is a totally holistic experience
Absolutely.
about caring for the whole environment there.
Yeah. Nature is created in such a beautiful and nicely balanced way. There's just that tanzim around it, that balance around it, that
Mhm.
a bee has the impact on the olive fruit because there are some other fruits around it. There's some citrus, there's some tomato. Like, it was when we first started this business, it was just eye opening to me that you take one olive from the tree,
Mhm.
not processed, it's perfectly green. You open it up and it smells like tomatoes. It's just unbelievable to me. How does it
Wow.
smell
Yeah.
like a tomato?
Yeah.
It's
And what I experienced in Turkey was the and I think I mentioned this when we talked that the beehives are all over the place. It's in the Muğla region, which is
yeah,
where we're referring to, which is southern Turkey, southwest. And I used to see beehives all over. Around when you're driving along the highway, you see beehives, And it's testament to me that people really care about collecting the honey from, places that are really still very untouched.
Yeah.
And there's so many different varieties of honey just because of so many people being kind of rogue beekeepers, which I thought is incredible, because we have that global problem of saving the bees and so on, but there is that direct connection with your product, and it's so great that you you did talk about that before. So
absolutely, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the taste and what sets you guys apart. I mean, you did mention that in our conversation. I thought everybody should hear that, which was very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are some common traits amongst good olive oils. Like let's talk about the grades first. The first conversation that it kicked off in Turkey, the lowest grade is called Riviera, which means that,
Oh,
that grade is, so when you go and do a harvest, it's like everything falls into place. You have these, if you go in October, mid-October, depend if you're in the northern hemisphere, you go and see these beautiful green olives, regardless of what type it is. Sometimes it turns towards like a purple if it's early harvest, and then you see these crumbled up black small ones that are on the surface. So they fell. They had some type of worms in them. They had some type of disease. They had so much sunlight in that particular location, so the tree kind of dropped it to save the other fruits. So Riviera is made from these bottom
that's
fruit.
the bottle that I showed on my Instagram where you stepped in and said,
Yes, unfortunately.
"Hold on." So I did not know that. I just thought Riviera meant you're in the Turkish Riviera.
It's a fancy.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Unfortunately, that's
Learn something very new.
yeah. So
Okay.
it has this is an acidified product, right? So there is an acidity, fatty acidity, FFA value associated with every single product. For a Riviera bottle, it's going to be above 1.5. If you go below 1.5 to 0.8, that's where you get into the virgin category. So that's now you're gonna be looking at olive oils that are somewhat good quality, but it's not really okay to be still consuming them raw. You can cook with
Oh, you froze. Uh-oh. Looks like his camera froze. Let's try to get him back. Okay. Let's see what's happening. Sorry about this, guys. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, maybe we'll get him back in a second. That's strange. Well, we'll wait for him to come back. If any of you have questions about olive oil, Turkish olive oil in particular, you can go ahead and just type your question in the comments. Oh, there he is. Ahat, you're back.
so I guess
Okay.
like I don't know what happened in all honesty.
Okay, that's all right.
Wi-Fi.
You froze a little bit. You froze, but
Okay, sorry.
that's okay.
I don't have the best handsome face when I freeze too, so that's apologies for the inconvenience.
No problem. We were just waiting for you to come back. No problem.
So we were talking about the grades, and the virgin product will be between 0.8 to 1.5. That's great for cooking if you want to do that, or frying. But once we get into the good category, which is an acidity level of lower than 0.8 or below. So the good bottle that you have in your hand for us is 0.2 acidity. It's really 0.2 to 3 acidity based on the bottle. And
it says it. It says it right here. Rich and fruity, and then it has a less than 0.2%.
Yeah, exactly. So that is an indicator of when you harvested the bottle. So the earlier your harvest, the lower your acidity levels will be. And why is that important? Honestly, like why would someone care about when I harvested my olives? Besides, if you're a manufacturer, you have such a loss because you take for an early harvest, you take 7 kilos that turns into a 1 liter of olive oil, whereas if you do mature harvest, it's 15 to 1. So
Hmm.
why would an average consumer care about it? It's only because the health benefits. There are these
Oh,
beautiful
okay.
things called polyphenols in
Yes.
extract in olive oil, which are basically antioxidants. They have a
Yes.
lot of known benefits. Like if you go to AmericanHeartAssociation.com and then search olive oil, the first two articles that come up is olive oil will be the cure for your good cholesterol. It will be your
Hmm.
tool to cure
Yes.
bad cholesterol and
Yes. I
good
mean, it's
cholesterol.
food
And
is
also,
medicine.
it will open up your path to not having heart disease filled life.
Yeah.
It's something that
Yeah.
you
And
know.
that's why the grading is so important that you're talking about. That's why quality is so important, because truly, if something is very cheap, you kind of know what you're getting.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So in Turkey we have a number 20 liras. If you're getting an olive oil bottle that for a liter that is 20 liras or below, then that olive oil, don't even touch it. That might be something that's infused with a lot of other weird stuff that you don't want.
Yes, and that was my issue in the grocery store. I would go to Migros, or, and I would. There were lots of beautiful olive oils, but and the ones on sale, just kind of. I was really confused there. Also because everything was in Turkish, it was really hard to read all the instructions
Yeah.
and understand. But do you sell this in Turkey as well, or
No,
just the
only
U.S.?
a unique product exclusive for the US market.
Exclusive in the U.S. market. So at the end, we'll talk about where you can find that in the U.S. But yeah, that's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
Okay, please continue. Sorry.
So the polyphenols are only found in these early harvest olive oil. So even though you're losing a lot from a yield standpoint, you're actually uh, producing a much better quality. And that's one of my biggest struggles with the local manufacturers too. Because when I go to them, I tell them, I want you to hit these specifications because we're gonna do a lot of lab testing, and I want to
Yeah,
make sure that we have what we're promising people that we're giving to people. So if
that's
I
great that you're testing in a lab. It's not just
exactly,
taking it from a farm and then throwing it in a bottle. I think that's very impressive that you're doing that.
yeah, it's an FDA kind of mandates that as well.
Regulation, yeah.
Not
There's a reason for
all
that.
polyphenol tests. They don't care about the nutritional value of it. They're looking
Sure.
for stuff like mold, for example, in an olive
Yeah,
oil that's going to be imported into the U.S.
right. It can make people very sick.
Yeah, but we just expand on it and we test it as much as we can. In all honesty,
That's great. So you've been very thorough. And so you did this so fast within a year, well, 2018, you said. So within 2 years, you went from an idea
yeah.
to this. Packaging is gorgeous. I think I even have the box here somewhere. I'm going to
Thank you.
grab it.
Yeah,
But
I have the box here too.
okay.
Um,
I can't get rid of the box. It's just it's so pretty. It's under my sink. I
Yeah,
really
one of
just
my Amazon comments, the gentleman wrote, "My wife doesn't let me trash the box."
yeah, that's me. I'm not throwing it out in the bottle too. I just the packaging is important. It does say a lot, but you've taken a great care, and I think the colors. And, well, a lot of it is in the marketing, but truly, it is a reflection of what's inside. So
And trust me, that's not all looks. That bottle, that
yeah.
bottle is also really functional because once you have this
Yes.
bottle, if the bottle is not dark, that's a problem.
Exactly. You can't let this be exposed to light. So even if I leave it out for a little bit, the dark bottle is protected. Like, never buy olive oil in a clear
Clear bottle. Yeah,
glass jar. Plastic is the worst.
yeah,
Oh, that just makes me crazy when I see olive oil in plastic.
yeah.
But okay, please continue.
Yes, so that's why it's really important for us to be doing early harvest, and that's why we do across our product line. We only do early harvest bottles. It's
Hmm.
really easy for us to go do a full harvest, but we understand the pricing that we have, the pricing structure we have is at a premium level, and that's what we promise to people, and that's what we should be delivering. And to your point about being really quick, it's all about a passion thing. I guess
Yeah, yeah, and you
we
are
have
very passionate about it.
exactly. We have been always looking for this perfect billion-dollar idea that is so distant, a trip to Mars, a new iPhone, a new
Right,
Airbnb type of idea. But
right.
you just gotta find something close to your heart and just work.
Yeah,
It's a lot more fun. You do it a lot better, and you do it a lot quicker. So
I
being
totally
able
agree.
to,
And this definitely was for you because you love the olive oil, what you saw in Italy, but your roots are in Turkey, right? You're from Turkey,
yeah,
and you felt, you know, That's why the way everybody becomes more successful in what they do is just having that authentic heart for it. And so I think that's how we connected, because I was, I kept saying to myself, there's so many wonderful things in Turkey, but I don't get a chance to really connect with the producers, or I want to tell the market that, hey, you guys need to try this, because when it's good, it's good, and it's healthy for you and all of that, but the quality needs to be there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
you've hit those marks. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, we met with great people along the way, because
that's the key. That's the key. Yeah.
there are some really great and enthusiastic people who know so much about all. And like when I talk to people, when I say this, it's true. You can talk for days. There are some people in Turkey that you go and you ask anyone in that small sub community, you say, who knows about olive oil? They will just point in that guy's direction.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that person will talk to you for days.
Yeah.
Hey, can you stay for dinner? I want to talk to you about it. And they're like talking and saying, you gotta do
Well, that seems to
told
be
my
a national
son,
sport there.
I told
I,
my daughter we should have done this. Like
yeah.
they all have these stories, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
once you
I
meet with
wish I had.
people, it's easier.
If I had spoken the language more fluently, and hopefully one day I will, but I think I missed out on a lot of really good food stories from not really understanding the language, especially at the markets, where people are, little, older couples would be selling their olives and their cheeses, and, just backyard olive oil and stuff. And it just very precious,
Yeah.
precious commodity. But you're taking it on a larger scale and bringing it to the rest of us. Someone is asking about the European market. So do you have any plans to sell this in the European market, or sticking to the US right now?
European market, we believe, is in a good place with Turkish brands.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, our goal is not to primarily focus on our profits first. That market is really close proximity to Turkey. There are
Sure.
so many Turkish descended people living in
Right.
France, Germany, Italy. So I think we're good. We're targeting the U.S. market and the Asia Pacific markets.
I see. I
So
see. Okay, so they'll have to maybe come to the US to get some.
yeah,
We'll figure that out.
US is a whole different animal. It takes
Yeah,
the
yeah.
right time.
It is. It is. But I think that there is a gap here in Turkish products. There aren't very many Turkish markets, in my opinion. I mean, most of them the products are within Middle Eastern, stores, and then they have like a little shelf of Turkish
Yeah,
stuff. And it really needs to expand, considering now that I've been there and seen the plethora of amazing
yeah,
tomato products, olive products, honey products. I mean, yeah,
exactly.
there's just so much.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about the taste? Because you have a lot of information, really good information about what makes olive oil really good.
Yeah.
And I think we were going to taste some
Yeah.
on there, and you're going to talk to us about pairings of the olive oil with certain foods.
So olive oil comes from olive, and olive is a fruit. So the first thing that you're going to be looking for is in taste is it has to taste fruity. If it
Yeah.
doesn't taste fruity, if that taste and that smell is not coming to you, and I have a fresh bottle that I just opened up here, one of my
Okay.
reserve bottles here.
That's a different shape than what I have.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So we tried to change it up a little bit,
Oh, I like the nice fat one.
and then
So I'm going to taste some too.
yeah, let's taste it. And I'm gonna do the fancy competition method, but you guys don't have to do this.
Oh, I sometimes I actually do, if I'm not feeling really good or if my stomach is bothering me, I'll just drink some olive oil. Does anybody else do that? I mean, to me, it's like a medicine.
My wife does it. Yeah, I do a shot of olive oil every morning on an empty stomach.
Do you? Why on an empty stomach? Why do you do that?
Because I feel like on an empty stomach, it just consumes so quickly and easily,
Uh-huh.
and then without the acid kicks in, before the acid kicks in, your body just absorbs it, and you're good.
Wow. Yeah, I would agree with that. Anything on an empty stomach, but the whole tree itself is miraculous. I mean, when I was just before I left, I was picking the leaves of the olive tree in my yard and making tea from them because I heard they were antiviral, and
Yeah,
that was the time everybody's looking for antiviral everything, and I was just making tea, but everyone said it would taste bitter, but it wasn't. It was really delicious. So, and a lot of the local people are making bowls and spoons and all kinds of things out of the olive wood. So the whole tree is used.
Exactly. Yeah. Soap holder. It's
Soap holders.
so
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Yeah. So are we drinking this?
Yes. So what I did was, and I urge you to do this too. Like in competitions, they have these blue cups similar to this one, and
Okay.
then they use blue because the color of the olive oil does not really matter. It doesn't really indicate quality. It
Oh, so
it
they don't
might indicate there is some debate around it. Might indicate
really.
harvest date,
Hmm.
but it doesn't really indicate quality. When you look at the color, you will see if there are sediments in the olive oil, if it's filtered and not unfiltered.
It's
That would
definitely filtered.
that would that would definitely show you something. And then what they do is you want to get this to your body temperature, so around like 27 degrees, 28 degrees. You hold it with your hand
Celsius.
and you just rotate it in your hand a little bit. And I'm struggling here
Okay.
trying to find the camera where it is, but just warm it up
Just
and
warm it.
hold it on top so that the smell stays here. And then once
Okay.
you open it up, you just kind of like give it a quick smell, and like essentially a sniff test.
Oh, you can really smell it like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now,
Very
even
fruity.
even from this, you can not taste, but you can smell
Oh,
whatever taste that you're going to be getting. So, for example, right now I'm getting definitely the green, bitter olive smell from this
yes.
particular product, and then
Yeah.
I'm getting, and some people will find this really amusing, but I'm getting radish, a lot of it.
Radish.
Yeah, I have some
I
tomato
can
right
see
here.
why you would say that. Why would that be?
It's just the fruits and how it's infused with things around it. Some
So,
people
so does that mean they were growing other They were growing other crops around
there
this?
there's cross pollination going on nonstop. It's the
Yeah. Oh,
ecosystem,
that's
and these
beautiful.
trees are just unbelievable. The region changes the taste, even if you're in the same region. One's on
Yes.
a mountain versus the
Yes.
other. Some olive oils are on poppy fields, for example. They have beautiful red poppy growing in the springtime, and that impacts the taste.
Sure.
My nose is not good enough for that, but expert tasters can differentiate the difference, and they can say, okay, there's that flower in here.
Right.
And what you do now with this is, once you kind of embrace it, you take a sip and move it around your mouth, and try to kind of understand what. Close your eyes and try to taste those notes. What else that you might be getting? So let's do that.
Okay. Bismillah. Mm.
And then one last thing, you take this in your mouth again, a quick sip, small one, and then you pull air through your teeth so that you activate the full flavors. And then you take that in, and that should now cause some interesting things, but we'll see.
Hmm. I don't know if I did that right. It has a bit of a kick
Yeah, there you go.
in the back of your throat, almost like
That's
it's.
right.
What is that?
That's right. That's the pungency. That's a
Hmm.
must in a good olive oil. You have to have that.
It feels like it's almost working your throat or something. It's like,
Exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
know.
You
That's
have
really
to. Some people
interesting.
say that it's an indication of acidity levels.
Right.
There's a lot of debate
It's
around
not.
it, but
It's not anything negative. It's
yeah,
just
no, no, no.
you.
Yeah,
You feel it's like a live thing
it's a
that you're
good
eating.
trait, and you can
Yes.
only
Yes.
activate it once you take intake air like that. If you're eating it in a salad, mostly you're
You're
not
not
gonna
gonna
taste
taste
that.
it like that.
So it's
Yeah.
gonna be really nice and smooth. But if you really want to engage in like
Very smooth.
what this thing really tastes like, then the health benefit doesn't change. No impact on that. You just take it. The first thing is it's fruity. The second one, it's supposed to be a little bitter, and then the
It
third
is a
thing
little.
is definitely the pungency that gives you that kick in the back.
Yeah. It's as serious as coffee tasting or what you see like in the
If
wine
not more,
world. I
if
mean,
not
this is
more, yeah.
what this has that level of seriousness and um, because everything that is coming from the earth is going to have those different characteristics related to like what you said, what's growing around it, what's in the air. I mean, we're learning so much about that. It's almost like as I taste it, I'm getting visions of the olive groves there, and I'm getting visions of. It's almost like it's taking you back. It's making you travel there, which is a really interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, absolutely. And to talk about pairings, which is a good,
Yeah,
good
let's
topic.
talk about pairings.
The green bottle that you have, let's start with that one. That
Mm,
one, that
so
one is
good.
a richer and fruitier bottle versus the buttery and smooth version that we have. And we found out that it really does a good pesto. It's really great for finishing pasta dishes, whatever the sauce is. It might be a white sauce or a red sauce, doesn't really matter. When I say finish it off, you don't really start cooking with it because it's we understand it's premium stuff. So
Right,
you don't
right.
really
Yeah.
start with it. Once you put it on a plate or right before, as it's still the heat is trapped on the pan, you just pour it on, give it a stir, and then it will just hit you in the face, that smell anyways immediately. And
That
it,
is the Mediterranean way of cooking, right? I mean, that's how I grew up with Italian cooking, or
yeah,
specifically Sicilian cooking. When you finish a sauce for pasta, um, the very last thing you do is add that exactly what you said. You add a little olive oil on the top, and that's when you really, really taste it.
exactly.
So you're really doing it to savor that olive oil taste, because if it's cooked too prematurely, you don't really taste, and it's sort of like wasting it in a way.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, these products normally olive oil has a smoke point of 350 Fahrenheit. The lower the acidity, the higher the smoke point. So you're a little bit safer when you buy a good product in terms of getting to that smoke point. And some people say smoke points is there. I think it's misinformation. Definitely has bad impact on an olive oil. So you can't pass that. There is no clinically proven study that shows that olive oil turns into a bad thing for your body once you pass that smoke point, but
Hmm.
it's clinically proven that you are reducing the amount of benefits. So
Hmm.
you're
That's
essentially
good to know.
turning your great olive oil to a average olive oil if you heat it up too much.
Oh, that's an important point.
Yeah,
That's a very important point. You can almost taste, like, smell it too when you. And I always tell people, don't, whenever you're sautéing something, you can use your olive oil, but don't burn the heck out of
yeah,
it.
exactly. Don't
Don't turn that flame on so high, as if you're deep frying. You need to just like slow and easy. Go
yeah,
easy. This is a very gentle product, and you don't need a lot of it to
no,
taste, to get that flavor that it imparts on food.
exactly. And then, of course, your salads. And we always suggest that you pour olive oil last. If you're pouring any other sauce, like let's say the pomegranate molasses, you have
Yes.
pomegranate molasses, or you do salt and pepper, depends on the salad. Let everything bond with the ingredients and then pour the olive oil on top. Two reasons: you want to taste the olive oil because that's going to enrich everything together.
Yeah.
Then if you pour, the second reason is if you pour the olive oil first, it will stop the salt and pepper from bonding with the greens because
Oh, really?
it will form that layer of olive, the oil on
Uh-huh.
top, and it's really harder for the balsamic or the pomegranate molasses to be bonding with the greenery or the
Oh,
apples that you have in your salad.
interesting.
So
Interesting. I
put it
never
last.
I never knew that.
It's the most precious product in that salad. Put it
Yeah,
last, taste it most.
it's
That's what
true.
we suggest.
It's true. This is liquid gold to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I won't I no one else is allowed to touch it.
Yeah,
I get to monitor all the quantities being used.
yeah, yeah.
So what do you think are the best pairings that this olive oil, other than salads? And people are always asking me, when should I use it? Where should I use it? Other than salad, what would you recommend?
Something crazy that we found out through life experience is pizza. Believe it or not. So, but not the typical thing that you're thinking, where you pour the olive oil on top when it's warm. You know, a lot of people ditch their crusts, and I know it's the anti-carb sentiment in the
Yeah.
world. But dipping your crust, if it's especially if it's like a nice Neapolitan pizza with a nice dough, if and it's fluffy, if you dip it in this olive oil, the green bottle that you have, we found that that's the perfect tasting. Like the amount of heat that dough has, and it's just too precious to left over.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
dipping it in,
Add a little Parmesan.
amazing. So that's a really good thing. White cheeses, anything that's done with yogurt. If you have, let's say, the typical Italian cheese plate, or you have like a cacık in Turkish, like,
Uh-huh. Yeah, the yogurt sauce.
or something that you do with white cheese, yogurt, and
Mhm.
some a little bit of a garden herbs from your garden. It can be mint, for example. And if you finish it off with olive oil, that really increases the intensity of the dishes and the flavor really nicely, and it bonds everything nicely together too.
Well, there are a lot of great Turkish dishes where yogurt is added,
Yeah,
and then there's maybe olive oil and sumac or something, like that. But they just do that drizzle of olive oil on top of the yogurt. Oh, like on eggs, for example.
yeah,
I would never think to do that, but it's just that addition of like a little bit of something really high quality goes a long way. And
exactly,
this is one of those examples. So
exactly.
it makes beautiful presentation and then just adds that because too much is too much,
Yeah,
it overpowers. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. What is your favorite dish that you would say that this your olive oil enhances? Like
I
maybe an American thing, or I don't know.
I drink it straight up, but we have this favorite. And you handled that fish plate a couple weeks ago, and that was
Oh,
really nice. We have our favorite fish sauce that we do, and
mhm.
it's not something that's written in a book. Whatever uh, herbs you love, you take it, put it in a small container like this one, for example. You put it in here, you pour some olive oil, and you brush it onto the fish. It definitely changes. And we do a branzino, uh,
Uh-huh.
European sea bass,
Yes, yes. Well, the Turkish one is amazing.
or the Turkish one.
Yeah, we do that with and at the very end, make a sauce of olive oil, garlic, and lemon juice, and it's just warmed kind of gently after the fish is out of the pan, and then you just pour that on top of the fish.
Yeah.
That's delicious. So
Ah,
I haven't tried it with this one, but I think I'm gonna take the bottle back to its home when I go back, and then just start.
I'll give you a couple of producers. Really, people that
Okay,
I
it's
trust.
a deal. I'm gonna hold you to that because I'm very serious about my olive oil.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
So let's see if anybody has any more questions. A lot of people are very happy that you're bringing Turkish olive oil to the forefront and talking about it, and I am too. I think you might have some friends here.
Yeah,
Best Mediterranean olives will come from Turkey. Uh,
right.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, even the olives are just absolutely delicious themselves. Um, Anything else you would want to tell us? What do you think? What do you think is the thing that consumers should be aware of the most? Now, we have some information about shopping. It can be kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
Then tell us where they can find Zeytin.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's just so much misinformation out there regarding everything, especially with
Yeah.
products like this. It is to a point where it kind of bothers people's stomachs that there's just so much information out
Yeah.
there. You don't even know if it's right, if it's true or not. So there are a couple of things when people are shopping for olive oil that they should be. There's for example the extra virgin acidity home tests that a lot of people do. You take an olive oil container, like a bottle like this, you flip it upside down and put it on your refrigerator top shelf because it should be freezing around 40, I think 40 degrees
Oh,
Fahrenheit
okay. So inside the refrigerator.
inside the refrigerator. If it freezes, you have good extra virgin olive oil. If it doesn't, then you don't. So people are really trying to get to a place where they have a little bit of a more protection from all these
Right.
false and
Right.
fraudulent products out there.
Yeah,
So
because there have been a lot of fraudulent situations with olive oil in the U.S.
and
and around the
so
world.
easy to manipulate. I mean, the thing is, when you go and look at manufacturers, it is so easy. You leave this product, it goes through a process, right? And we can talk about the harvest and all that stuff too, the process, how it's made essentially. But it's so open to if you want to mess with it, if you want to put something else in it, if you want to increase the yield. The good thing is, thank God. I mean, it's you can't add water to it. I'm
Yes.
so happy that you can't
Yes, you're so right about that. It would
because
totally
it's just
ruin it.
dressing by itself. But you can add a lot of other oils. What consumers can actually do is when they take a bottle, the more information you have on a bottle, the better it is. Sometimes you don't have that much information on the bottle, but the producer has an amazing website. They share everything. They share everything on their website. They show you exactly where it's coming from. They have a really clear and well defined about us section. They talk about themselves really openly. So these are really things that people can look at. But if you're in the supermarket, you're standing in front of a shelf. It's really hard to open up your phone for every single product that you
Yes, that's so
and see if
true.
it's gonna be real. Once you grab a bottle, first and foremost, like we said, has to be unless you're thinking about getting olive oil for frying, which I'll give a pass for that. Like if you're gonna be frying it, you're gonna be doing French fries at the end of the day, or some other vegetable fritters or anything like that you want to do. That's fine. You can go buy even a plastic bottle as long as it says extra virgin olive oil and you trust the supermarket because buyers do some sort of due diligence as well. So
Right, right,
already went through the funnel of FDA, the buyer, and then it was on the shelf. So
right, right.
that's somewhat safe. Uh, you can take that bottle and use it, even if it's a clear bottle, or whatever, if you're going to be frying with it. If you're going to be cooking with it, if you're going to be eating it raw, finishing your salads, bread dipping, and all the good stuff that you should be doing with extra virgin olive oil, you take the bottle in your hand and you ask yourself the question: is the bottle dark? If that's a check mark, you proceed to the next question.
Absolutely.
How does the lid? How does
Number
the lid
one.
look like? Like I spent so much time on this lid, and believe it or not, I said I'm gonna get this lid, and I do not accept anything else. Like this is my
You
minimum.
talking about this, the cat.
The cap, yeah.
Why?
So this one is the best method
Oh, this part.
to make sure that even if you leave it like this, there's no air that goes in.
Oh, because once you open it, when
There's
air comes in,
a little ball,
aromas.
exactly. There's a little ball in there that drops to the bottom of it, shuts, seals it shut. Of course, it's not as good as never opening it.
Right,
Of course, like, but I know a lot of people. You got to really understand the consumer and how they use this. They use it, they leave it open.
right.
Something as precious as a premium olive oil should not really be left open like that. But it's a hassle to every single time open and
Or
close it.
at least just stick the cap on a little bit, just to kind of prevent, because the aromas just really absorb into it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's another sign. And when you look at the bottle itself, so one big telltale sign is, do they have a harvest date on it?
Yes, and I just saw that you do right here by the barcode.
Exactly. So if they don't
Yeah,
have a harvest date on it, who knows when they did that bottle? Like even they can't say early harvest. What does early harvest mean? It's like,
right.
to me early harvest is October, but to that guy maybe early harvest is March. You never know.
Yeah,
Never.
that's a very big claim too, because like, what does that mean? Early when?
Yeah,
It's
early
not
one.
specific, but
So,
you don't
so
say that. You actually just have the best buy date and then the harvest date and the lot number. And
yeah, exactly.
wow,
You have the lot number. So if I receive a single complaint regarding this bottle, I know exactly where it came from. I can
perfect,
even limit it to the area of the grow that we process to make that batch. I can
wonderful.
even limit it to that quick area where I can say, okay, this we had a problem with one of the bottles that came from one of these trees over here, or one of this production facility. It went through this machine, so you know
Yeah,
exactly what's
that
going.
transparency is so important for consumers
Yeah,
today. I mean, it should always be, but I think today more and more people are very insistent on that. So that's wonderful that you just did that.
yeah. And every single one of our circles or the balls are done with a purpose. It's not because they look pretty. It's because we want to mention that it's single estate.
Hmm.
Because there have been so many issues where people, and this is big companies, and I'm not in the business of naming names, so it's just not, it's going to be all vague, but they say that they're from location A, but they're only bottling in location A. They're getting their olive oils from B, C, D, E, from not even the same region within the same country. They're getting it from different countries, and then they're bottling it in that particular country, and they're still calling it olive A.
And that's kind of what happens with meat, right? Today you get meat at the grocery store and it could come from Brazil and the US. To me, that's like, first of all, very scary, but also, how do they even keep track if something goes wrong? So I just appreciate that you don't do that.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's a really big deal.
Intentions of that.
What does it mean when you say single estate? What does that actually mean?
It comes from a single garden grove.
So one grower or
Yeah.
multiple growers on.
You know how apple farms called orchards? The all the
Uh-huh.
farms are called groves.
Okay.
So it comes from a single grove.
A single grove. Okay. Okay.
So we
So
can we
that gives you more control as well over the quality and more personal relationship with the growers.
exactly, yeah.
Wow.
And then cold processing is one of the key factors. And
Yeah.
also this is something that's really interesting. So oops, I'm running out of battery. Give me 1 second. Plug this in. Good thing I was ready for this.
The technology
Right.
today
We're all tight.
works great until we're out of juice.
Yeah, exactly. So
Gonna close my lid.
the cold processing is really important too, and you can process olive oil between. And I'm sorry, I don't have the Fahrenheit, but I'll do a quick conversion as we speak. Uh,
Okay.
centigrade to from 19 centigrade to uh, 19 Celsius to 30 Celsius, right? You can let me look at how what that means in Fahrenheit terms. It's somewhat between, let's say, 68 to 86 degrees. That's the processing heat.
Fahrenheit?
Yeah, Fahrenheit.
Right,
So
okay.
let's say 70 to 86.
Okay.
So what happens? Even 86 is actually pushing it. Even 30 degrees is pushing it. What happens is you take these olives, put it in a machine, and it starts kneading the dough. It's just like making bread. It
Okay.
starts breaking the products, breaking the fruit, and then it starts. There are some arms. They go like long this way, and then they start rotating, just like a dough maker. They have some steel parts in there. They turn and turn. It turns into a dough, and then some people process it with water. Some people don't. Like us, we don't have any air contact, and nothing else touches it. So you do it in a like a centrifuge technology,
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. I
all
have read
the
about that.
air and all the outside elements, and then that dough goes into a decanter and turns into the olive oil. The excess water goes out the back. The olive oil comes out to the front. If you do
Wow.
this whole process where the machine is heated up to over 30, 35, so 86 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, then you start losing the health benefits. You start killing all the nutrition that's inside that fruit that was going to be transformed into a beautiful olive oil product. You're just getting rid of all of that. So the
Yep.
essence here is to do it as cold as possible. And
Oh, that's why the cold pressed is important.
exactly,
I
you can
see.
ask, why doesn't anyone do this? Like, it's such an easy thing. We'll just keep it cool. Like, why is that so important? It all comes down to the same answer: yield.
How much are they
Better
going
your
to
practices,
get? Right.
less your yield. So this is not really some products you look at it as $15. Our products are $25. It's not because we're greedy in terms of making money. It's because our products yield a lot less because of all the things that are attributed to the products themselves. Like I said when I was beginning this conversation, it's quality over quantity.
Sure. And you
So
have
you
to
want to
wonder, how did they know how to do this before all the technology kicked in? I mean, because it's one of the most ancient foods we have available.
they
And
didn't.
how did they know?
They
How
didn't,
did they
but
know?
it was still, even with the old process, and we can talk about it because it's fascinating. Even with the old process, it was relatively a healthier product at the
Really?
end of the day. Because
Why?
well, even if you really like neglect it and abuse it, it's still a healthier product versus your other options.
Oh, yeah, hydrogenated oils, don't get me started. Oil is a very sensitive product. It can either be super healthy or super unhealthy. It's so interesting. And it's all about the process that you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, it matters what you start out with, but that process is also hugely important. So we have a question here if you're ready.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw.
Maris is saying, I buy tins of olive oil. Is there a difference with keeping it in a glass or a tin? That's a good question because I don't like anything other than glass, but I mean, you would know better.
Yeah, three things. Uh, Good products and good manufacturers stay away from tin containers because they're products are really valuable, and they don't want to put it in a tin container because
Right.
the taste will change over
Yeah,
time. It's not
that's
going to
what I
change
would expect.
overnight, but it's going to change in 7 months, 8 months. And you don't buy the product and keep it in your kitchen for 8 months. We know that. But the
Right.
product, before it gets to you,
Right.
have already spent 8 months in that tin container.
So it could develop a metallic taste,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
So
You know.
don't think that that tin container is the first tin container that your olive oil actually saw. Even with the best practices, you take your olive oils and put it in a stainless steel container. The best judges from the best competitions, they can even taste that difference.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there's definitely a taste. And one more thing is, we all know I have a metal piece in this room versus a glass piece in this room. The metal will almost always feel warmer to my touch because it connects heat a lot better than glass, right? So even though they're the same temperature, because we're in the same environment, when I touch the metal, my hand will go, oh, okay, this is warmer. You don't want your product, your olive oil product, to be in a package where it conducts heat so well that it will definitely impact your quality. So you
Right.
want to protect it as much as you can, and that's
So
why
with glass, you're not gonna.
I don't really
There's
prefer.
no flavors to impart, right? Like steel or metal always has that metallic
Yeah, no matter
taste,
what you do,
actually.
it's food grade. It's really good quality. It's manufactured nicely and clean,
But
but the
still,
nature of it is it's going to leave the mark on it on your quality.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and even the ancient ways of storing olive oil was it had to be clay, right? They must have stored it in clay
Yeah,
early on.
they had these big, and when you go to Ephesus, for example, in Turkey,
Yeah,
or when you go to the ruins of Troy in Çanakkale region, you see all these. As you walk inside the museum, you see all these old uh, olive oil containers that are made of clay that are so high. They're like 3, 4 feet high, and they needed four people to move it probably and just pour the olive oil.
yeah.
But
And I wonder if they appreciated the liquid gold that they were carrying, and they were probably. I mean, who knows what those people would think about our oils today, right? I mean, just that natural, um, fruit is it's amazing. It's amazing that thank God we still have it
yeah,
today. You're
exactly.
preserving it for us. Um,
And we can talk about the ancient way of doing it too, if you want.
yeah, I would be really interested if you could tell me. I mean, maybe I don't know if anybody else would be interested, but I am. I really want to. I really want to get people thinking about modernity is great, right? Process is great. Progress is great. We have to move forward and we have to do innovative things, but hopefully not at the expense of the taste, the quality. And sometimes, like when we learn about the ancient ways of doing things, we realize like sometimes they were a lot better.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
So,
please tell us.
so back in the day, the the protection of the soil, the protection of the tree, was all made with natural drugs that they derived from collecting ABC flowers, ABC plants, and then they made pastes and smeared it on the tree trunk so the bugs wouldn't walk up. They had infinite knowledge on how to do that. That's really great. They didn't have irrigation, drop irrigation to do every single tree one by one. But the good news is the olive tree is a really strong and when it's mature, it's really hard to break it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really
true.
hard to prevent it from giving fruits. There are some 1,500-year-old trees today in various countries of the world, including
Yes,
Turkey, that are still producing fruit.
yes, yes. They
So
are massive.
that's taken care of. Uh, as long as it rains in that region and you have a good, nice runoff, so it doesn't turn into like a water puddle, the
Yeah.
tree will be fine and safe. And then what they did is they used to harvest it. And of course, there was really not much benefit to doing early harvest. They just harvested it when they harvested it. And what they did with that is they used to take it, and within this whole production, believe it or not, donkeys played the most integral role
Really?
because they used to put it on a cart, and it's not horses, it's donkeys that used to push him to a processing facility. So when you go, some manufacturers in Italy, Turkey today have some amazing stone buildings, and
It's
right in
12
the middle
o'clock.
they will have the stone mill. So a stone mill is just like how you would do flour It's the same thing. You pour down your olives, the fruit into a like a large cement or made out of stone circle, and there are two ginormous like truck wheels that
Mhm.
are attached to a
Oh,
stick,
yes.
and
Yes,
that
yes,
stick
yes.
is longer than the circle itself that attaches to the donkey's back, or there's one donkey or two donkeys. And as the donkeys keep walking around that circle with a little bit of nudging,
Yeah.
the huge stones that were carved out from granite or some type of marble that's local to that region, because it's so heavy you can't really move it, that or some type of rock that crushes that
My
product.
gosh.
So as long as it's the donkey is going around and around and around millions of times, the product is crushed. Of course, there is the air contact, there's the bugs flying in and out. That's
Yeah.
we're okay with that. And then what they used to do is they used to take that paste and put it on sandwiches in between straws, like a hay straw. They used to make like just like a panini. Instead of having a toast bread, they have a hay straw on top and a hay straw in the bottom, and the paste in the middle. And they had these huge like wooden structures where on top there's a steel rod where you can rotate it, and then it presses a plate down. And they used to put those sandwiches, the olive paste sandwiches, with those straws on top of each other with the steel plate on top.
Okay.
And then as you rotate the steel rod on top, the plate keeps going down and pushes the paste downwards. As the paste is pushed downwards, guess what oozes out?
The oil.
The oil. So they take it, it flows into like a big stone, again, carved
Yeah.
from stone.
Mhm.
They scoop it out, put it in the container, and they use it.
Wow. That's a rigorous process. So was this in Turkey or just in general in the Mediterranean?
Glad you asked. So this is a Mediterranean thing, but a
Okay.
lot of people wouldn't know. Even Turkish manufacturers wouldn't know.
Wait,
The
it sounds like something I've seen it or like read about Sicily because the donkeys were it's sort of like the cart the cart that you're talking about is kind of iconic of Sicilian
yeah,
culture.
exactly. Everyone did
So
it
that must
from
be why.
Syria, modern day Syria,
Uh-huh.
all the way to Spain. Everyone did it. Maybe not Spain because Spain is introduced a lot later than Syria, Turkey, Italy, and Greece.
Uh-huh.
But uh, they used to the oldest facility for producing olive oil today is actually in Turkey, and it's a nice place that where they restored it. It dates as early as 600 BC.
Where
So
is this? Is this in Ephesus or
this is
Chalicale?
really close to an hour drive north east from Ephesus.
Okay. Yeah, that would make
Send you the
sense.
exact locations, and if anyone searches right now,
You could
oldest
find
stone
it.
mill in Turkey,
That's going to be on my list of places to go next
and they
time.
restored it. It looks really nice. You can go walk around it, walk inside of it. Even in, for example, the Aydın region, they have all these tools that I just described
Uh-huh.
for display in museums and in a cafe, for example. This one cafe owner, out of nowhere, he has passion for this production, and his family owned it. So they use these for generations. So he opened up a cafe in a beautiful old olive oil mill. So stone
Oh, wow.
high ceilings. In the middle, there's like a cafe, and there are seats that you can sit in.
Uh-huh.
On the sides, there's the olive oil display. So
Oh, wow.
he
This is Aydın, so
all
that's
the
close to Bodrum and so on.
stone mills and everything that I just described.
Yeah, Turkey is the foodie lovers
Sure.
world. I mean, I really felt that I was in the most perfect place.
Yeah.
If you love food and you love food history,
Yeah.
I think, it's definitely the place to be. Thank you so much for bringing Turkish olive oil, like really high quality Turkish olive oil to us in the US. I think that this is the opening of many more conversations about this and hopefully peeling people's eyes open to the quality that's there and more appreciation for Turkish products in general.
Yeah.
Can you tell us then where, if you're in the US, where people can find Zeytin,
Yeah.
Zeytin olive
So
oil?
first and foremost, definitely the shop of myhalalkitchen.com,
Oh
right?
yes, yes. We just think you're a brand new vendor, so you guys can get bundles. You did bundles now, right?
I have a bundle too. I have the standalone product and the bundle. Uh, and then we have our own
I'll post the
website,
link for everybody.
which is zeytinoil.com. Uh, we have that. We sell it on Amazon. So if anyone is an Amazon Prime member, it's really straightforward. You just click on it. We just had our 100th uh, 5-star review yesterday. So we are a brand with
Oh,
100
well,
organic 5-star reviews, which is
mashallah,
so many.
mashallah.
Which
That's great.
said alhamdulillah, it's a big blessing for us. It's a really good thing. And then we are in a couple of supermarkets, really boutique supermarkets, because we're based in Atlanta. We have a couple in Beaufort Highway, Alon's, in supermarkets in Atlanta, and then in the California region, we're growing now. This boutique organic supermarket grocery store called Erewhon picked us up a couple months ago, so they've been selling.
Great.
It's been doing good. It's
And
the
that's around LA, you said, right?
Exactly in LA. They have various locations, so Santa Monica, Venice, LA, Calabasas, and Pacific Palisades.
Yeah, they have 5 locations on their website. So are you in all 5 locations?
Yeah, yeah, we are.
Oh, awesome.
And
Mashallah.
they are
That's
like the
great.
grocery store of celebrities, which is really funny. But
All you need is one. We'll call Kim and say, stick one in your bag. I
yeah,
can help out with that.
yeah, if anyone picks it up and accidentally places us in the background on Instagram, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to sell out the harvest. So well, that's my wish for you. I mean, I really think that you deserve it.
Thank you so much. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So we'll post some links. I posted a link to My Halal Market where you can find your products, but I'll also post your website and grocery stores that people can find. And I'm going to do a little bit more writing about your stuff and some recipes. I think we'll be working together with that.
Yeah,
And hopefully we'll see each other in Turkey. I think you mentioned you guys will be there, and so maybe we'll meet up and show everybody the harvest or the groves or something. We'll figure something out.
yeah.
Oh, someone is asking if you deliver to Canada.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have some issues with the French language. Like one thing to mention is we don't hire anybody. Like
It's just you and your wife doing it all.
wife doing this, and we don't speak French, unfortunately. And if you want to sell in Canada, you have to have French packaging. We looked into it. That's the one of the reasons why we decided to hold off from it for
Mhm.
now. But a lot of people, a lot of our friends have been asking. Our own cousins live in Canada. We can't even send it to them.
Yeah. Over time, inshallah, little by little. And you've done such a fabulous job, you guys, at putting it together. And I think step by step, as you grow, you'll get there. So for now, you guys will have to come over the border, grab a case of olive oil and go back. So people who come from, let's say, Toronto or Vancouver, they could. Are you in New York? Are your products sold in New York at all?
We'll be soon. We're
Oh,
working
okay.
we're working on New York with the coronavirus situation. Made it
Yeah,
really
that was
hard
good.
for us to travel and bug supermarket buyers.
Yeah.
That's why we're kind of on a hold with expansion into New York right now.
Well, and I think this is a great thing. I think that in the sense that you're growing organically, you're monitoring all your quality, and we all just need to be patient and wait for you to get into certain markets. But you certainly have support of myself and so many other people. We want to see you grow, and I trust that you're gonna always keep the quality and integrity just from having talked to you and knowing your passion behind it. So we can go and get things online. That's the good part. And for those of you in California, you can go to the Air One stores. I'll post that here. And the rest, everything can happen online. And I know that they can reach you also on Instagram. You're really receptive to questions and stuff. So if anybody has questions, they can also
Questions.
reach out.
In fact, there's one up there: how to make our own oil infusions.
Oh, right. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah. Would
So
you be able to answer that?
well, it's really easy. It's no crazy science behind it. For example, if you want to do, let's say, sun-dried tomatoes with your olive oil, and you have rosemary that you want to do,
No, rosemary is delicious.
what you basically do is you keep these guys, these three ingredients, in a small container overnight. Let the sun-dried tomatoes get infused fully with the olive oil and the rosemary, for example. I just gave that as an example. It can be anything. It can be garlic, lemon, whatever you want to do. And you keep it overnight so it's nice and soft, and then you put it through the blender next morning or next afternoon. And once you do that, it will be nicely balanced and nicely kind of like it will become a
Infused.
hodgepodge of
Yeah.
flavors, and then you can just consume that so easily.
Yeah, I just want to add though, especially with the garlic, you can't leave it sitting for days and days, and you can get botulism. So you really need to be careful. And like you said, overnight is enough, and then blend them up. But don't sit on something like that because you can really get sick.
Yeah.
So food safety here, all that food safety courses. But yeah, great. I just feel like it's so good on its own. It doesn't need anything, but of course, it does make you want to experiment and cook and do a lot more with it. So we'll come up with some more recipes.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah, we have some in-house attempts from my wife on the website.
Uh-huh.
Turkish dishes and soup
Yeah.
and stuff that we continue to share, which is also we need to collaborate with you so we can do those all together.
Yes. The list is endless. I mean, I haven't even begun to share my Turkish like whatever I've learned in Turkey, and I'm just scratching the surface. There's so many wonderful dishes, especially from the Aegean region, where the food is just plentiful and beautiful and tasty. So okay, thank you so much, Ahat, and thank your wife. I know she's busy with the kids, so and she is your co-founder. You guys are doing this together, so I don't want to discount her participation. And congratulations to both of you on so many fronts, and best wishes. And we hope to have you back again soon, and hopefully we'll see each other in Turkey.
Inshallah, yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much for hosting us.
You're so welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you. No more Riviera.
No more Riviera, I promise. Yeah, you really taught me. All right, take care. Assalamu alaikum. Bye-bye.